So, Amazon MGM Studios, the same people who brought you such amazing shows like Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, are now developing a Mass Effect TV show. Goody. Because we know how well it went the last time. So get ready, if you're a fan of Mass Effect, get ready to have the story ruined, characters added that don't exist or shouldn't exist in that timeline, the timeline and lore of the game completely messed up, your favorite characters bastardized to the point where you don't even recognize them. So basically, if they're a strong person, they're going to be taking orders from a strong woman, or if they're, whatever. But regardless, it's going to be completely just like you're not even going to think it's Mass Effect. You're going to think like, oh, this isn't Mass Effect, but they just slapped the name on it. Amazon developing Mass Effect TV series from F9, the Fast Saga writer. Amazon MGM Studios is reportedly developing a Mass Effect television series from F9, the Fast Saga writer Daniel Casey. In development with Amazon MGM, Daniel Casey will not only write the show, but will also executive produce it as well. He'll be joined by Kareem Zreik and Cedar Tree Productions, as well as Aria Rod and EA's Mike Gamble, who is currently working on the 5th installment of Mass Effect. Also, speaking of Mass Effect, BioWare put it out today about Mass Effect. November 7th has arrived once again, and as always, we are grateful for the opportunity to celebrate all things Mass Effect. This year is a little different as we just launched Dragon Age of Veilguard as a studio, so we're purposely keeping things lighter as we celebrate the launch of the game. Speaking of which, you may notice a small treat from the Mass Effect team in Dragon Age of Veilguard if you check out the new chest inside the lighthouse. So make sure you go to the lighthouse, make sure you check that chest, because, ooh, there's a hidden prize inside. It's a note saying, ha. That's all it says. It's ha. There's some cool new merch in our BioWare store. We have partnered with No Man's Sky and Destiny 2 to bring back a couple of fun cross promos in those games. Be sure to check out our social channels for all the details, for all the deets. Although we are a little quieter this year, we couldn't be more excited about for what's to come. The Mass Effect community team. And EA also. Just another, just like them, just like BioWare, EA, just another company that's completely fallen. They were amazing, 2 decades ago. And here we are now. Just like every other company, they've sold themselves and are just a hollow shell of what they used to be. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. BioWare, EA, Activision, Ubisoft, they've all lived long enough to see themselves become the villains. they've been around long enough. Which is why Nintendo, despite their terrible practices sometimes of going after fans who are creating fan games, it's the reason why they've been in business so long is because they know how to make games. I was watching Vera play that new Mario game that came out, the Brothership. Really good. It's a really fun game. Very bright, colorful, funny. Pretty much what everything you'd expect from a Mario game, from a Mario RPG. Really nice looking game. Solid controls, it looks like. They've added a few more things in to keep it spiced up a bit for people. But all around, it's a good game, and that's why Nintendo is always so successful, because they know how to make games. They have games that have withstood the test of time so far for the last, 30, 40 years. Mario, the Zelda series, Samus, Fox, Kirby. You have Sony, early Sony, where you have, Crash and Spyro. But then you have these new games where they're trying to make this huge thing out of them, and no one's going to remember them in a year. No one's going to remember them. They're just shells of what these companies are, just shells of what they used to be. And taking a beloved series and giving it to Amazon, the same people who are ruining Lord of the Rings, you're basically saying, I don't care about this franchise anymore. I don't care if you ruin it. The fans will just have to deal with it. But Amazon MGM Studios boss Jennifer Salk has shared with Andriva, you will see us continuing to invest in fantasy genre of all kinds. We have a genre-focused team on the grounds in the studios who work tirelessly with our creative partners of those slates, and you can look forward to more. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy! I can't wait to see how they destroy Mass Effect! Just the way they bent over Lord of the Rings and shoved their... no plot details were revealed about the series, so it's unclear if the series will attempt to adapt the original storyline from the first 3 games or be something completely original. Well, we know how Amazon is. Like, oh, we're going to work very closely with people, experts, whether it be, whoever, like the producers or whatever, or in Lord of the Rings case, Tolkien scholars, but then just completely ignore everything and just kind of do what they wanted. And so they created a subpar product that's just pissing people off because they're taking characters that have been beloved for decades and ruining them. All because they want to add in their own ideological crap, their bull crap fanfic storytelling, and people are tired of it. It's like, you do not disrespect Lord of the Rings like this. You just don't do it. And Mass Effect, same thing. It's got rich lore in it, and people are going to be very, 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 very upset if you mess with that. But then once again, if you start claiming how they're messing up the lore, and you give specific points of like, well, this happened in the lore, but now they're completely ignoring that, and this happened, and you say something to them or online, oh, you're just a phobus and ism. Because you're not allowed to question or criticize anything anymore. Amazon's own experience while attempting original takes on story IPs has been disastrous with both Lord of the Wheel of Time, yeah, people were like, that's not that great, and Lord of the Rings. Especially Lord of the Rings. They came out and they said, we are going to tell the story of the Second Age. But they're not telling the story of the Second Age. It may take place in the Second Age, but it's not the story. It's like their own fanfic. And because they came out and said this stuff because they're trying to reassure the fans, like, oh, we're going to respect Tolkien's work. We're going to tell the story of the Second Age, and we're not going to add anything that wasn't already there. We're going to take a few creative liberties to help, really bring the story together, but we're not going to, mess around with the lore established by J.R.R. Tolkien. If we do add characters, they won't be pivotal to the story. And look what they're doing. They didn't stick to any of that. They didn't stick to any of it. And then they can't imagine why people are upset. It's like, because you lied. You said that you wouldn't mess with the lore. You said you would respect the works of J.R.R. Tolkien and just tell us the story of the Second Age. And here you are. You just bold-faced lied to us, and we're not getting the story of the Second Age. We're getting your fanfic version of it. And then they can't imagine why people are so upset. On top of the most recent entry in the series receiving poor reviews, BioWare, the studio that develops the series recently released Dragon Age Veilguard, which is full of postmodern woke ideology, whether that be feminism. Yeah. Like, you have to listen to Tosh rant on for like 2-3 minutes about how she's non-binary and, oh, it's so hard not being able to be who I am. It's like, are we playing Dragon Age or listening to someone's therapy session? Because I think we're listening to someone's therapy, like a person working at BioWare. I think this is like their outlet, and we're having to listen to their therapy session because they feel the need to put themselves in the game. It's like, this is Dragon Age. not therapy session. I don't want to listen to you rant on for 2-3 minutes about how you're non-binary and how no one understands who you are, and oh, it's so hard trying to be someone you're not. Just shut up. Just shut up. It's Dragon Age. Shut up. I want to talk about dragons. I want to talk about how we're going to take down the gods. I want to talk about all the, medieval fantasy stuff that we have. I don't want to listen to you complain about being non-binary. It effectively turned the game into a political lecture and humiliation rather than a game. Given that, it's highly likely to... Yeah. People are terrified about the Mass Effect 5. They are terrified. And when I do I've done a lot of videos about Veilguard, and I see the same comments. Like, I'm so worried about Mass Effect 5. I'm so worried about because people are terrified that in Mass Effect, with the way that BioWare's been with games, and the way they see Dragon Age and how that has been, how they took a great franchise and just kind of ruined it with, real forced, oh, Dragon Age has always been diverse, and that, yeah, but no one's ranted for 3 minutes about being non-binary. Tasha's just constantly complaining about it. She sits down at the table, and to her mom, she's like, I'm non-binary. Like, why does your sexual preference need to come up in every freaking conversation that you have? So people are terrified that the next Mass Effect is going to suck, and that it's going to be just like Veilguard, where it's just modern ideological bullcrap. It's like, I want to play Mass Effect, not listen to someone's existential crisis about their identity and how, oh, I'm a man, but I choose to identify as a woman. It's so hard to... We don't care. We don't fucking care. Just give us Mass Effect. But as for the show, it's Amazon, so you can expect them to go the same way as they did with the Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings. So, bastardized versions of characters, lore that doesn't line up with anything that's been established, stuff being made up. So, and get ready for a lot of girl power. A lot of girl power, because you gotta have that in modern day. Modern day, you gotta have girl power. Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dustborn. But yeah, I know a lot of you have been fearing Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect 5. And congratulations, now you have more to fear in the form of a TV show being made by Amazon. It's not a good time for you Mass Effect fans either. Tomb Raider is just being completely and utterly ruined by modern ideological bullcrap. And so fans of that series are kind of, having to struggle with that. Fans of Mass Effect, sorry, you guys are up next. You guys are up next on the shopping block. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.